Hello Flosstube, welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube number 22, I believe. I've got some show notes this week, so I'm all prepared, hopefully. And it's Sunday the 5th of September. As you can see, it's a beautifully sunny day. It's like summer's made a comeback here in my part of the UK. It had been really quite chilly. Some evenings we even had the heating on because it had got quite chilly and very sort of grey and not very nice at all. And now, as you can see, the sun's back and I think we're due for a few nice days of weather coming up this week. Please excuse the state of the sweet peas here. The garden's gone a little bit to rack and ruin. I thought summer was over and I was getting all ready to pull out all the sort of annual plants and have a good tidy up, and I've been a bit lax on the watering and tidying up, so as you can see things are a little bit of a mess, but hopefully that won't affect your viewing today. A big thank you if you're a returning viewer, and a warm welcome if you're a new viewer today. It's really good to have you here, and a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the channel, and also I must say a massive thank you to everyone who has bought me a coffee. It's really appreciated. Quite a few of you have followed the link that I leave down in my description box below, which is somewhere where if you feel you want to support my Flosstube channel and help me to keep the giveaways open to everybody internationally, that they can just pop in and just buy me a virtual coffee, which helps with the postage. So thank you all as well. It's all the thank yous. Thank you for all your wonderful comments on my last video. I can't believe how many of you commented and said how much you liked my finish, which was the Mary Poppins finish in the hoop. And you were all very gracious in saying that you thought it was practically perfect and that I needn't worry about the little pen marks that I had on the fabric. So I've got the door open and the breeze is blowing my hair onto my lip gloss. So yeah, thank you for that. There were quite a few recommendations to put a little bit of trim or ribbon around the edge of the hoop, and I must admit when I was finishing Mary off I did try that. I sort of laid a few different trims and things around the edge to see if I would like that effect, and I kind of liked her sort of quite plain and simple as she was. So I think I'm going to leave her as she is, and she's up on top of the bookshelf in my craft room. And actually, yes, you can't even notice it. When I walk past I just smile and I'm happy that she's finished. So that's the story of Mary and how she's staying as she is. I also wanted to just very quickly mention my friend Betsy of Betsy Klager on her Flosstube and send her all my best wishes. She's having a few little health hiccups at the moment, and I just want to send her lots of love, and I'm sure you would too. So if you haven't checked out Betsy's Flosstube, do go along and have a watch. She is hilarious. I love her. She does beautiful stitching, and of course you always get to see Hamilton, her little pussycat, who is, don't tell all the other cats, but is one of my favourite cats. So I don't think I have any questions to answer on this particular episode, but there is a little bit of help that I'd like from you guys if you possibly could, and this is aimed at my stitchy friends here in the UK. A lovely viewer by the name of, check my notes, it was Carolyn, sent me an email, and if you want to contact me by email, my email address is down in the description box below. Carolyn contacted me. She's over in the States and her daughter lives here in the UK, and Carolyn had stitched a sampler, I believe it was, for her daughter, and obviously, as we all know, samplers take a lot of time and love to stitch, and she'd finished this beautiful sampler and she wanted to give it to her daughter as a gift and have it framed, but she was worried about getting it framed in the States and then sending it over in case it got damaged or broken on the way. So she asked me for recommendations for a framer here in the UK. if there was someone similar to sort of like Michael's or Hobby Lobby that did framing here, and I explained that sadly no, as far as I'm aware, there's nobody other than sort of independent framers here, and that having not had anything professionally framed, or certainly not for many years, I really didn't have any recommendations for her. So if you're here in the UK and you know of, you can recommend a framer that you've used, that isn't crazy expensive and that does, most importantly, does a really good job. If you could pop that down in the comments below, and hopefully Carolyn will see that, and one of your recommendations might be just the thing for her to send her piece over, just as the stitched piece, and get it framed so that it can be sent on to her daughter. So I hope we can help a fellow stitcher out with that little conundrum. Okay, so I'm going to move on now to my whips, and again, I don't feel like I've done a huge amount of stitching, but I've been stitching every day, and that's the main thing. And stitching for me is, I'm sure, like it is for a lot of you, it's a little retreat from your everyday life to just sit down and absorb yourself and lose your thoughts in your stitching. So I do get a little bit done every day. Most work days I get a little bit of stitching done at lunchtime as well, and in the evenings once I settle down. So enough waffling, let me show you what I have been stitching. And the first thing, and appropriate for today, is my Hello Sunshine, which is a mystery stitch along from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And as you can see, it doesn't look an awful lot different, but what I've been doing is concentrating on a few of these leaves and filling, and this is my lunchtime stitch. So once I finish this leaf here that I've done the stem for, I'll be ready to move on to the next part, which is part 3, which sort of takes up this sort of area here. So eventually this will be a whole, following my finger around in the camera, a whole tree of beautiful tropical leaves, and there's a dragonfly coming up and a butterfly, I believe, that are going to sort of balance the flamingo and the toucan that I've already done. So that is coming along nicely, and it's perfect for lunchtime stitching. So I think I might need to spend a few evenings on this though, just to catch up with myself a little bit. So let's pop that one away in its little bag, all nicely ironed, and then it goes away for a week of crumpledness in the bag again. The bag was already unzipped, so I'm actually just zipping it up again. Okay, let's pop that one down. And the next thing I've been stitching on, which is living in one of my lovely Sue bags, and I had so many lovely comments about your bags, Sue. Everyone really likes them. In here is living my Spell of the Moon. If I pop it on my board and try and pop the little clip back on that I had, because that stops things falling down. And you can see Spell of the Moon, which is by Blackbird Designs, from the Winds of Autumn booklet. If I can get that out without dropping all my things on the floor. So it's from this booklet, which I know so many people bought when it was published last year. And as you can see, I've made quite a bit of progress. I've completed the moon, and that's a deceptively large amount of stitching. Well, it is for me. So I got all that done. I really love the little owl, and most of the way around the border. And I'm stitching this along with my lovely friend Paula of Eva Faith on Etsy, and this is a fabric that Paula dyed especially for us to stitch along with, and it's in her colourway Dark Side of the Moon, and this is a 32 count linen. You can see it's got the lovely moody mottling there, which makes it perfect for this project. Thread wise, I'm using for this a combination of, well, one of the called for, I'm using Harvest Moon from Gentle Arts. Not a lot left. Actually, that moon takes up quite a lot of thread. There's just enough left, I think, for, there's a little house at the bottom, a haunted house, and there's an urn of flowers that has that colour in the centre of the flowers. DMC 310, which is their black, and this one here that I used for the accents on the owl's body is an anchor thread, and that is shade 273. I just raided Stash basically. Paula sent me the skein of Harvest Moon along with the fabric, so I had the right shade for that, which is lovely. And I'm really looking forward to getting this one finished and share it with you all when it's done. So that's been keeping me very, very busy. I've been enjoying that really a huge amount. I bought some black satin ribbon to do a ruffled ribbon trim when I make it into a little pillow. So I'm really looking forward to a finish on that one. Let's pop the book down as well. And my final whip that I have been working on, I thought I need to get Anniversaries of the Heart out again and give it a little bit of love. So I've done a small amount on this. Let me just grab my threads and my pattern, and I've been working on Pink Hill Manor, which is a beautiful chart. Really love the house, and all the shades in this are really, really pretty. So let me show you my progress. I'm stitching my Anniversaries of the Heart as one big piece. If you're new here and you haven't seen this before, it's a series of patterns I'm sure you're familiar with, and I'm stitching the whole series on one. This is actually a half yard piece of 30 count legacy linen in pecan shortbread, I think it is. I can double check if anyone desperately needs to know exactly what it is. And here's my progress. You can see just there is my progress. I've completed the house, so now I'll try and get a little bit of a wiggle on and get that one complete, so at least the top row of the design will be complete. It is taking quite a bit of time. I had lofty ambitions to do one piece a month and get it done this year, but it isn't a race, and I'm just happy to be stitching on it. I'm using all the called for this particular pattern in the series. You can see lovely blackbird colour palette there. So that's what's been keeping me busy in the last couple of weeks since I saw you last. If you remember, if you have watched me previously or in the last couple of videos, you'll remember that I was doing a red sampler, and I was going to try and do a thread, a length or two of floss each time I started stitching, and just get a little bit of progress that way. Well, I don't have a huge amount of progress, and if I am honest, I have fallen in love out of this project majorly. So I'll show you what I was doing and the pattern. I love the pattern still. So the pattern is this one from Heartstring Samplery called My Necessity, and I was stitching it as a red sampler, and my progress is measly, because as I said, I really haven't been feeling it. I've done a tiny bit more, and I'm not sure if it's the fabric or it's the fact that I think it actually is the fabric more than anything. Where's the little clip gone? Let's put that back on there. I think it is the fabric. It's quite a close weave. It's a Zweigart 32 count, but it seems very, very tight. I'm using a size 28 needle, and because the weave is quite tight, I'm using just one strand of DMC. The floss that I'm using is, wrote show notes, but actually haven't got anything organised enough to reach. It's 498, that one there. So love the floss, love the pattern, not loving the fabric. So I think rather than not enjoy stitching it, which really is the whole point of stitching, it's why we do it, I think I'm going to abandon this and maybe just keep this fabric because as I said, I don't enjoy stitching on, but it might work just as like the back of pillows or something. It won't go to waste. But yeah, it's really not working for me for this particular project. So that one is going to be abandoned for now, and I think I'll pop the whole thing in timeout and wait until I've got some fabric that really sort of calls to me for that design, and then revisit it another day. And it happens, doesn't it? Not everything you start stitching, sometimes you work on a project and everything just, it's like the planets align and the fabric is fabulous and the thread's fabulous and the pattern, and you just can't put it down, and other things like this particular project, they just don't really work, and our stitching time is far too precious, I think, to not be enjoying every stitch that you make. So this one is going to have a little time out, and yeah, we'll see it again maybe next year, I think. Right, I'm just going to check my notes because I think it might be time to have a little look at some stitchy kindness that came my way. And I'm so lucky to have such wonderful stitchers and stitching companies contact me from time to time and offer me things to share with you all and show you what they have on offer. And a lovely lady contacted me called Megan, and she has a Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, called Coffee Craft Fabrics. And I've not taken these out of the packaging because I want to keep them pristine. And she sent me a couple of her beautiful pieces of hand-dyed fabric. These are both even weave. This lilac-y one here is a 28 count even weave. And you can see the shading she has on there is absolutely beautiful. Really fantastic. I mean, I'm just in awe and envious of people that can dye fabric. I have tried dyeing fabric and I really don't think it's as easy as they make it seem. And this piece is a 32 count even weave with the grey shades and the mottling. And Megan has, as I said, she sent me these. I'll pop a link in the description box just down here with a link to her Facebook group where she sells her fabric. She's based in the UK. I'm not sure if she ships internationally, but certainly if you're in the UK. And I'm going to be keeping this piece for a future project, and I'm going to be offering this piece as a giveaway. So just hold that thought because I'm going to pop it down to one side, because there will be another little item for a giveaway as well. But yeah, do pop along to the Facebook group. As I said, it is Coffee Craft Fabrics, and see if you can find yourself a nice piece of linen like this. Thanks for sending those along, Megan, that is much appreciated. The next thing I wanted to share with you was sent by my lovely friends at Fat Quarter Shop, Kimberly and her team, and it is the stitch card box, and this is a new product produced by It's So Emma for Laurie Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. And as you can see, it is an organisation tool, really. That's the best way to describe it. This is the outer box that it comes in, so fabulous if you want to offer it as a gift to somebody. And I like gifts that you can wrap up really easily, and anything in a box is definitely a good one in my opinion. Before I open it up, actually let me open it up and show you what's inside. So in here you can see it was all wrapped in bubble wrap. I've taken that off so that it didn't make loads of noise and get in the way while I was showing you. So inside the box is the box. Let me just get it out. I'm going to try and do all this without knocking everything over, and that's failed, hasn't it? Okay, let's pop that down. Okay, so here is the box, and I've dropped the label somewhere. There's two little white card labels that you can label up with, which I have dropped on the floor and have gone out of reach for now. But as you can see, it's got a beautiful little cross stitch design on it all the way round. It's completely covered, and Laurie's little Bee in My Bonnet logo here. It's a handy little hole at the back here, which is for pushing forward if for whatever reason you get something in there. You know when you pop something in a drawer and something's poking up and it gets a bit stuck, well, you can poke it from the back with your fingers. That's really handy. And this is made of sturdy metal, the little drawer pull here. And when you open it up, the pattern continues inside. I don't know if you can see that, but this particular teal version has got the teal crosses on the white inside. And these have been designed for the Laurie Holt stitch cards, and I've stitched quite a few of Laurie Holt stitch cards in the past. Now I don't have any of my patterns here to show you how they fit, because I did offer my existing ones and some new ones in the last giveaway, so they've actually gone off to their new owner. But you can see the beautiful index cards. Mine are still, they're still in the plastic, but there's an awful lot here, and they go A through, I think they go through about twice through the alphabet, so there's lots of index cards there. Now you don't have to just put stitch cards in these. If you wanted to put recipes in there, greetings cards ready to send off to people, so you have a nice little stash. You can store other stitchy stuff in this box. You can put absolutely whatever you want. Did I say recipe cards already? But it's a great idea for organisation. And if you pop your cards in and you haven't got quite a full box, you can keep the little insert at the back just to keep everything standing up and not falling over in your box. So thank you to Fat Quarter Shop for sending that along to me to show to you all. I think it's fab. It does come in other colours as well. I'll just show you on the back of the box. There's the teal, which I have, and the red and the denim blue. So really, really cute for making your craft area look pretty. And I think I'm going to pop all my tools that I use for putting my floss onto floss tags in here. So my hole punch and my tags and the pen and the rings and all that I'm going to store in this little box, so it's all ready for whenever I'm putting some DMC onto my little floss drops or floss tags. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that, and if you wanted to get one or two or three for your craft room, then they are available from Fat Quarter Shop and anywhere that sells It's So Emma products. So here in the UK, I should imagine that So Hot UK would be stocking these at some point, so you can grab one there. Right, let's pop that down. And I mentioned I'm going to pause for 1 second and grab the things that I've dropped on the floor, so I'll be back in just a sec. Right, I've retrieved everything from the floor now, so we are good to go. So here's the fabric again, the beautiful lilac-y fabric. So I'd like to give this piece of fabric away to one of you lovely viewers, and I would like you to mention in your comment below, if you'd like to win this, the word lilac, L-I-L-A-C, in your comment if you'd like to be entered for the giveaway for this. As I mentioned, it's a 28 count even weave, and this piece is 13 inches by 18 inches. And I'd also like to offer this beautiful granita pattern, which was given to me by Fat Quarter Shop, an It's So Emma pattern. I did share it on the last video, and if you would like to enter for this particular pattern, and there is a stitch along starting for this, I believe it's this week, so you might be a little bit behind, but I'm sure you can catch up. So if you'd like to be entered to win this pattern, please use the word granita in your comment as it's spelled here, G-R-A-N-I-T-A. Now, as always with everybody's Flosstube giveaways, I'm sure you know the drill by now. Please be a subscriber to my channel. Please like the video. Please be over 18, because I will need your actual address to send your prize to. Don't mention the word giveaway, freebie or anything like that in your comment. And good luck everybody. I'll announce the winner in 2 weeks time on my next Flosstube. We'll put those safely, and then I'm going to share with you some stitchy plans. As you know, I just don't have enough stuff to stitch on, and I need to be thinking about more things to do. The first thing that popped into my head when September started was it was Sampler September, and I meant to get it out to show you, but it's in the other room right now. But if you watch my Whip Parade video, you would have seen my All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara Anna, and I think I'm going to give that a little stitch this month. I really would like to make some progress on it, and it is such a beautiful sampler when it's completed. So that is definitely on my list of stitchy plans. A couple of other things that I have in the planning are, and everything is all sort of bundled into another one of my lovely Sue bags. and I'm getting the Halloween bug really badly and want to stitch all the Halloween things. So I did share these patterns with you before, but I have got myself to the point of being ready to start stitching. So let me try not to drop everything on the floor. So I showed you Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and as you all know, I was a little bit obsessed with getting hold of this. I did get it from Patchwork Rabbit, and I went through and thought, this is going to cost an absolute bomb if I get all these fancy flosses, all these over-dyed flosses. So I will go through stash and see what I have that works, and the rest I will get as DMC equivalents. Now there aren't any, there are a couple of DMC threads listed in this booklet of charts, because there are 6 charts in here, but most are the over-dyed flosses. So I used Google and just Googled the DMC equivalents to the flosses mentioned in here, because they aren't listed. Each floss doesn't have a DMC equivalent listed, if that makes sense. So I did a bit of Googling. I don't know what I do without Google, like the rest of us, and I now have all these beautiful flosses all ready to go. Now there are a few more here than I will need to stitch the designs. I've got a couple of choices of purples, and I'm going to see as I go along which works the best at the time, to see which I'm feeling is the best option. So I've got a few classic Colourworks and Weeks in here, but they're mostly DMCs, but as you can see, absolutely beautiful, and I have no problem substituting DMC. I think it works beautifully, makes it much more affordable to stitch the projects that you want to do, and they just look so lovely, don't they, when they're all together like that on the ring. They just look so beautiful, and I really enjoy putting them all onto the little cards or the little tags. The fabric that I've got, again, I mentioned before, I'm trying to be a little bit more careful with the amount of money that I spend on my hobby at the moment. I could open this, it's a little bit making that horrible noise. So I bought a pre-cut piece of Zweigart 32 count Belfast linen, and this is in the vintage country mocha colourway. Now I really need to say vintage country mocha, like all you American ladies, but I must be true to myself and say mocha, but it is very tempting for me to say mocha. Anyway, I'm digressing. So I bought this piece of fabric. I've never tried it before, and I don't know what I was missing, because when it arrived and I got it out of the pack and had a look at it, I'm probably preaching to the choir, you all know this. This is really fantastic fabric. This was a fat quarter that I bought. It was just under £10, which I think is amazing. Let me put it onto my board. I don't know if the light in here is going to show it properly, but you can hopefully see. Where's the little clip gone? Because it's all going to fall off. Okay, so can you see? The sun's coming through, isn't it? You can see the mottling on this. The colour is beautiful. I've got a whole fat quarter, which I'm hoping will be enough to do all 6 of the designs in the booklet, because they are quite small. It's Zweigart, we know it's great quality, and the price I think is just fantastic. And if you don't like the mottled vintage side, and you just like your mocha as it is, the back side is plain. So I think it's amazing, and I'm going to be getting some more of this, I think, to keep in stash, because I think there are so many projects and charts that would look good stitched up on this particular fabric. And as I said, by doing the combination of that fabric and the DMCs, I think it's going to make a really nice combination for these patterns. Did I mention this is 32 count? I think a lot of the patterns in here are stitched on 40 count. That's not happening here. I'm not able to stitch on 40 count, but I think on 32 count, obviously they will be a little bit bigger, but I think they will work really, really well and make some fabby little Halloween pillows to go in my tiered tray for my dining room. So I'm going to pop that all away, and I think I'm trying to remember, there is a stitch along, I think, on Instagram. Penny's daughter, I think, has started a stitch along for Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee. So I'll double check to make sure I'm right, and I'll pop it along the bottom here if that's the case and you wanted to join in with that stitch along. So let's pop that down there on the pile that seems to have just decided to all slide across the floor. And the next thing that's in my stitchy plans, again, I have shared this before, but I'm now good to go, and it's this chart, which is Autumn Alphabet by Willow Hill Samplings. And we had a bit of a debate, Paula and I had a bit of a debate about the thread colours on this, that the colours represented in the model on the photograph weren't necessarily looking very close to the threads when we looked online at the cord for. And I know things vary looking at your computer screen, but they looked like really quite a way out. So I know Paula pulled some threads that she felt would work well. And a viewer also contacted me and said she'd had the same problem, and she'd done a version using her own colour conversion that looked beautiful. But I have had a little rummage through my stash, and I have got some threads here that I think will work really, really well. And again, these are a real mishmash. I've got DMC in here, I've got Gentle Arts, Classic Colourworks, a little bit of everything, a bit of Weeks, and some Anchor. It really is a good old mishmash of manufacturers, but they're all cotton, they'll all work beautifully together. And a while ago, I bought a piece of linen from Paula at Eva Faith. Let me just, this is a 36 count in the colourway Straw. That's more of a true representation. And I think these colours are going to work really, really nicely. It was this colour that was, I wanted to get right, because if I just peep you back to the chart, is this pumpkin here that I really wanted to get looking like that. And I think with this colour and a little bit, I might do a bit of blending. I might be fancy and see if I can blend two strands together. But in saying that, this is 36 count, so it might be better stitch with one strand. But I'll see if I can just mix in a few greens with that lovely sort of aqua blue and get a good mix on that. So I'm very excited about that particular one. I think that's all the, yeah, those are the plans, the most imminent sort of on my immediate radar. So I think by the time I see you next, I will have had a couple of new starts to share. But knowing me, I am the world's slowest stitcher, and I don't anticipate to have anything actually ready for Halloween, apart from my Spell of the Moon that I showed you at the beginning of the episode. But these things will probably end up dragging on to next year, but it's all absolutely fine with me. Okay, I think we are ready to have a little look at some haul that I got since I saw you last. Obviously I bought some DMC threads, and that's why I got fabric, which I've already shown you. But I did have, I had a little trip to Hobbycraft yesterday. I needed a couple of zips and bits and pieces like that, but I noticed that they had in there these wonderful, if I can reach, these wonderful wooden pumpkins. Isn't that fab? Can you see the cutouts? If I put my board behind it so you can see it clearer. And this was so inexpensive. This was £6. If you're in the UK and you're looking for something for a finish, get yourself along to Hobbycraft or get onto their website. This piece was £6. It's on a stand, and I thought it would make a really wonderful finish. So in anticipation of a finish of something that isn't even started, isn't even a twinkle in my eye yet, well, it's kind of a twinkle, I bought the pumpkin. I bought a couple of paints because they had an offer on them. So I bought this one here, which is ivory, and a black, because I was undecided whether to go sort of dry brush ivory or to go moody black with my pumpkin. So I think I'm leaning towards the ivory at the moment. And then I bought just a little autumnal pick and some ribbons, so I thought that with the finish I could pop this, would go somewhere like this across the top, and then I bought some pretty ribbons in the check and the orange just to go at the top there. I thought it would make a really nice finish that I could keep out sort of. I'm going to go more autumnal with this rather than Halloween, because then I'll get more life out of it and, you know, it have a bit more longevity as a display piece rather than a Halloween piece. So really excited about that. And once I got home with the piece, I thought, well, what am I going to stitch to put on it? So these are the twinkles that I mentioned. These are the possibles. So perhaps you can let me know in the comments which you would go for. So let me tell you what the plans are. So I have this beautiful chart, Harvest Blessings 1621, and this is a Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This chart actually came with coming to America. I don't know if it's available on its own. It might be worth checking out Brenda Gervais' website to see if it is, but I have a feeling it might have been just exclusive to coming to America. But as you can see, it's a really lovely chart. It's finished there as a pillow, but I thought that on the pumpkin, I could just stick that on, couldn't I, and call it done. Would look really lovely. And of course I could get another piece of that vintage country mocha fabric to stitch that. So that's option one, Harvest Blessings. The next option that I have, and these were both patterns that were sent as a gift from a lovely viewer quite a while ago. I've got two here, two choices. So this obviously does take us down the Halloween route. This is Hands On Design Boo Chalkful. This would be my last choice, I think. It's a lovely pattern and I will stitch it at some point, but I'm not sure it's the right one for that because it will make it a Halloween piece. But if that's your favourite, vote for it. And then finally, this one, which is from Country Cottage Needleworks, and it's Be Thankful. And as you can see, that has all the little pumpkins in white, and I thought that could work really well on that piece as well. I'll put it there just so that you can imagine it. But let me know what your favourite is. I think in order of preference at the moment I'm leaning towards Harvest Blessings, followed by Be Thankful, and then my third choice would be the Boo Chalkful. All lovely patterns that I would like to stitch all of them, but I think for that particular piece I think this would look really stunning. As you're all probably aware, recently it was I think it was last weekend, it was the Needlework Expo, the online sort of trade fair for new for designers to showcase their new releases, and obviously for shops to buy them so that we can all buy them from them. So really exciting times for us cross stitchers, and there were a few designs that caught my eye. I'm mostly window shopping at the moment. It's always fun just to have a little sort of virtual basket, isn't it, of things that you would like to have, and even nicer if you can get a few of those designs too. But I thought I'd just share a few of my favourites. There were so many things, but these 4 patterns that I'd like to just share with you now that really caught my eye. I'm going to have to look at my notes because I'm going to put the photographs up at the side of the screen here or here so you can see, but obviously I can't see them while I'm talking to you now. So I'm going to look at my notes to make sure I get them right. So the first one that I thought was just super cute is from Luminous Fibre Arts, and it's Boo Hoo. And I just think this owl and cat, or owl and the pussycat if you like, in their Halloween regalia looked so cute. They have that vintage vibe. I love them both equally. I think the cat takes it for me. Just such fun. The retro vibe is just really amazing, and I would love to stitch these two particular as little pillows. I think they would look really cute. So that's my first pick from Expo. The next one is from Beth Twist at Heartstring Samplery. I love Beth's designs. There's seldom a Heartstring Samplery chart that I don't fall in love with immediately. But this collection is Haul Out the Holly, and again, little pillows. I guess you could make them into ornaments as well, but so much loveliness in a chart to have all these beautiful designs to make into little Christmas pillows. I think it's amazing. Totally looking forward to getting that one in the future. The next one, just for cheekiness, is the Chubby Bird from Jeanette Douglas, and he is just such a cute little fellow with his little round tummy. Reminds me of some of the birds that I see in the garden here. So he's also a firm favourite to get hold of in the future to stitch. And finally, and I think this is absolutely stunning, is the Autumn Pin Drum from Kathy Barrick. And I saw this when she did a joint Flosstube with Liz Matthews, her daughter. They were showing all their expo releases. Everything was amazing, but when she showed this drum, I just thought it was breathtaking. I loved the colours of it, the design, the fact that it's a drum. I'm so determined to stitch and finish a drum at some point. I think they are stunning pieces of needlework. So this is something that I will definitely be trying to get hold of when it reaches the UK. So I'm sure you've all seen lots of designs that you'd like from Needlework Expo. Let me know your favourites down below, because it'd be interesting to hear if you have got your eye on any of the same ones that I've just mentioned. I know people often talk about unicorn charts, and I've never really had one. Sometimes people, you know, share their joy when they finally discover that chart that they've been hankering after for such a long time. And yeah, I didn't really have anything that I really desperately wanted. That was until I watched Annie of the Proper Stitchers' recent Flosstube episode, and she showed a few past finishes, and one was a Halloween piece. I'll pop a picture up here. This is just a screen grab from Annie's video. Hope you don't mind, Annie. And she showed the La-di-da by the pricking of my thumbs. And I was watching Annie's Flosstube, and Justin was next to me, and he seldom comments on Flosstubes that I'm watching, and it must have caught his eye, and he said, wow, that's a really cool design, you should stitch that. So I went straight on to see if I could find the chart, and nowhere in the UK has it. I can't find it anywhere, so I was a little bit sad about that. So that has now become my unicorn. So if anyone knows where it is or where I can get hold of it, please let me know, because I would love to start stitching that for a Halloween piece. One last thing I wanted to share with you before I go, and it's, I don't know how long I've been talking for, it feels like ages, so hopefully it's not been too long. I did a bit of sewing last weekend, and I didn't get quite as far as I was hoping. Let me move the pumpkin out of the way so I can show you what I've been sewing on. Excuse me leaning. Okay, because this is why I had to go and get black zips in Hobbycraft. So I bought a charm pack of kitty corn fabric by Urban Chicks for Moda, and as you can see, I was making a project bag. I didn't get very far. I got as far as making the patchwork front and doing some faux quilting with some black thread. My sewing machine was really misbehaving, and I wasted far too much time sorting it out. It was human error, of course. It wasn't the sewing machine at all. It was me. I hadn't threaded the bobbin up properly. Anyway, by the time I got cross with it and then eventually put it right, I sort of ran out of time and ran out of steam. But I did get the front done. I used my patchwork tutorial. There is a video on my channel of how I make these, because this is all done using interfacing. So you can see they're all ironed onto the interfacing, then I seamed them, and then I just sort of quilted, did some faux quilting over the top. So I have the front of the bag done, and the zip that I had was a cream zip, and I really didn't think it was going to work. I think this needs to look a little bit, these little corn kitties need to be a bit mean and moody for Halloween. So I bought the black zip, and the fabrics that I've got to finish the bag is another of the kitty corn fabrics for the back and for the top bit, and for the lining I've got some black and white gingham. So hopefully that will all work really well to make a nice Halloween project bag, because Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee needs to live somewhere cute. Now when I posted this on my Instagram, I did leave a little note to say that I was thinking, or toying with the idea of perhaps making some project bags to sell, and would anyone be interested. I was just trying to gauge that interest, see what you guys thought and if anyone would be interested in buying any of my project bags. And I think my post might have been a little bit misleading. I think people thought I was actually making this to sell, or making bags like this to sell. I don't have enough fabric for that, and I'm not quite ready to sort of pull the trigger on making bags to sell. But let me know what you think. The plan would be that all be random fabrics and colourways, and some would be patchwork and some wouldn't. Obviously the price would reflect if they were patchwork bags or if they were just plain fabric fronts. But if you would be interested, let me know in the comments below, because it is something that I'm thinking of doing. Obviously my time is limited, and that's why I wanted to gauge interest first. I wouldn't want to spend a huge amount of time making bags and then nobody wanted to buy them, because that would make me sad. So if you would be interested, let me know, and then perhaps I'll get a proper plan of action going and make some project bags to sell. Okay, well I think that brings us to the end of today's Flosstube. I hope you've enjoyed everything that I've shared with you today. I've enjoyed catching up with you all immensely, and of course I will be back in 2 weeks to share what I've been up to in that time, and I hope you get lots of stitching done too. I didn't have any nice footage for you at the beginning of the video, so I do apologise for that, but hopefully I'll have something to share with you next time. But do take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.